Mike Vrabel, the head coach of the Tennessee Titans here on the Rich Eisen Show. Have you caught yourself at any point in time dropping a Belichickism or sounding like Bill in any way, shape, or form?
I think that there's always going to be people in your life that are influential. I was lucky enough to have invite my high school football coach down to spend a couple days with us this week and be in the meetings and be at practice. And just it was fun to see him here and interact with our team, and just, it was good for me to kind of be with him and kind of just go back and share those memories. And so I think when you go through life, you have people that are influential in your career, professionally and personally. Bill's one of those guys. Bill Cowher's one of those guys. Urban Meyer's one of those guys. Luke Fickell's one of those guys. Romeo Crennel's one of those guys. So there's a lot of people that I've been lucky to be in contact with that I've tried to take some positives from and take some good things that helped me along in my playing career and now my coaching career.
You left out Lloyd Carr on that list, Mike. You left out Bo on that
list.
And
I was probably a Michigan lean. People don't know that. Like I try to tell everybody, but in December I was probably a Michigan lean, and Coach Carr came to the house for dinner, and we had the old the old family dinner, the visit, the in-home visit, and that went well, and then just at some point in time in probably January, just made the decision to go to Ohio State.
I got to tell you, Mike, I've heard this separately, okay? I've heard this throughout, because as you know, the state of Ohio, and I'll say it because, again, I appreciate you calling in, that state up north, okay, that there's always Ohio guys, Woodson, and we can go on, Desmond, et cetera, that go up north and exceed. I heard you were potentially one of them. Why'd you stay with the Ohio State?
You know what? It was my first football camp. The only football camp I ever went to was in Ann Arbor. And I went to the Michigan football camp, and I didn't know anything about recruiting or anything. And I just was running around out there playing speedball, and next thing you know, Cam Cameron drives in a golf cart. He said, Gary Mueller would like to see you in his office. I'm thinking, what did we do? Did we do something in the dorm? Did we do something wrong? I'm nervous. I'm scared to death. And, I go in there, and he's like, I'm kind of watching you, play this game and do his stuff. And I would like to offer you a scholarship to Michigan. And I'm thinking, I didn't know that this came with the deal. I just came up here to go to camp for a couple of days with my buddies. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of the beginning of recruiting. And my best friend in high school had always been a huge Michigan fan, and we went to the games. Every other Saturday we go to Michigan, we go to Ohio State, go to Michigan, go to Ohio State, and felt comfortable with the coaching staff there. Greg Madison, recruited me, but in the end, Ohio State was the right place for me, and still stay in contact with those guys that recruited me. Still talk to Greg, still see Greg, and obviously Lloyd Carr, and then with Brady Hoke being there, and just know some of those guys are good coaches.
And are you aware that you are the all-time Ohio State leader in terms of catching touchdown passes in a Super Bowl? Are you aware of that, Mike?
I did not. I didn't know that was a stat that was kept.
Well, I just decided to make one up because I'm seeing a list here of multiple touchdown receptions in Super Bowl history. There's only 28 guys who have multiple touchdown receptions in Super Bowl history. You're the only defender. And I'm looking at this list here off the top of my head. I think you're the only Buckeye.
There's no Buckeyes.
Look at you. Look at you.
How about Santonio Holmes?
No,
I know he had one against with the Steelers. He only had one.
He just had that one, and obviously there is
a big one.
Well, Cardinals fans will place that in dispute. That his leg. He never dotted that I, but that's okay. We could just leave that one out there.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.